You know, I've never seen a company more bipolar and inconsistent than Nintendo. For every one thing that they do that makes me fall in love with the company, they do something else that makes me question everything about them. For every Zelda Breath of the Wild, they pull a Metroid Federation Force or a Paper Mario Sticker Star or Color Splash. For every Nintendo Switch, they pull an NES Classic. Both very popular products, except with the Nintendo Switch, they're going out of their way to ship as many units as they can, whereas with the NES Classic, they cancel the product despite the high demand behind it. Nintendo is just beyond comprehension, sometimes for a blissful better, and other times for a frustrating worse. There are days that I love Nintendo, but there are other days that I just want to punch them in the face. And unfortunately, their latest endeavor is one of those situations where I want to punch them in the face. It's no secret that I've never really been a fan of DLC practices. I'm totally fine with reasonably priced expansions for a game, but I cannot stand money-making schemes like map pack DLCs and whatnot. Witcher 3 and its Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine DLCs are perfect examples of how DLC should be done. They are reasonably priced, they actually feel like expansions of the base game, and they offer substantial new content. Call of Duty map packs, on the other hand, aim to squeeze out as much profit as possible by excluding content that should have been included in the base game in the first place. And I am saddened to see that Nintendo is going the Call of Duty route with Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valencia. Look, I love Fire Emblem, and it only pleases me that there is another entry in the series to look forward to. But the DLC practices that this game is implementing makes me sick. Here's the basic rundown. The game will launch on May 19th alongside a Season Pass, a practice that Nintendo has really gotten into lately, despite the late Satoru Iwata's commitment to stay away from stuff like this. Now, the first thing that raises red flags about this particular Season Pass is that it costs $45. That's $5 more than the base game, which costs $40. Now you must be thinking, well, with that kind of price point, they must be offering expansive, substantial new content that goes along with that price, right? Nope. The Season Pass offers 5 pieces of DLC. The first one, Fledgling Warriors Pack, priced at $7.99, offers 1 new dungeon and 2 new maps. The second one, Undaunted Heroes Pack, priced at $9.99, also offers 1 new dungeon and 2 new maps, but a little more challenging or something. The third one, Lost Altars Pack, priced at $14.99, offers some new dungeons and the ability to upgrade characters to exclusive classes that don't appear in the main game. The fourth one, Rise of the Deliverance Pack, priced at $12.99, includes a prologue campaign for the game's story. And finally, the fifth one, tentatively titled DLC Pack 5, priced at $5.99, doesn't even have a description. If you buy these DLCs individually, you'll be shelling out $52. The Season Pass, which is $45, only grants you a $7 discount. So yes, folks, $45 for a Season Pass that only offers a handful of new maps, dungeons, classes, and a prologue story campaign. Let me remind you that again, the base game only costs $40. We are talking about a Season Pass that costs more than the base game, but offers far less in terms of content. And you know the thing that gets me most about this? Look at the dates on the DLCs. Notice how the first DLC releases the same day that the game launches in America. The second and third DLCs release 6 days later, and the fourth one releases a week after that. What this tells me is that all of this content has been finished and ready for a while, but is being purposely excluded from the base game for profit. This isn't them coming up with additional new content that they didn't have time to make and fit into the base game. This is them going, what content can we pluck out and sell separately? Now, one could argue that this game did come out in Japan a month ago on April 20th, 2017. So yeah, it is plausible that they worked on all of these DLC in that 1 month time frame, but I don't buy it. I believe that the content was pretty much ready to be shipped with the base game, but they deliberately decided to sell them separately again for profit. It is my belief that if they really tried, that if they really had the consumer's best interest in mind, they could have easily shipped content like new classes and new story content with the main game at launch in Japan. Now, let's assume for a second that they really couldn't finish this DLC content in time, which is why it's being sold separately. In that case, if they really have the consumer's best interest in mind, why not just release this content for free? Let's face it, considering the time frame of the DLCs and the ridiculous pricing model of the Season Pass, it is fairly obvious that profit was at the forefront of their mind when they planned all of this out. To add insult to injury, Nintendo advertises that if you buy the Season Pass, you will save 30% compared to if you buy the DLC pieces individually. That didn't sound right to me, so I did the math, and you're actually only saving 13.5%. So the Season Pass is not only overpriced and features content that could have shipped with a base game, it's also being falsely advertised. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. To all those involved in the planning of this Season Pass, I just want to say a big fuck you to you. This is Activision and EA levels of shady. If it were up to a company like CD Red Projekt, they would release all of this DLC for free and then spend a year working on a true expansion to the base game, like they did with Witcher 3. And just to give you even more perspective, Witcher 3's Heart of Stone DLC only cost $9.99, and the Blood and Wine DLC, nay, expansion, only cost $19.99. Together, that's $30, and if you purchased the Season Pass, that's only $25 for both. Hell, I'm even willing to give Zelda Breath of the Wild Season Pass a pass because it's only $20 and it actually seems to offer content that expands upon the original jam-packed experience. Fire Emblem Echoes, on the other hand, sells you a pie with a missing slice for $40 and then charges you $45 for the remaining slice. I truly pray that this doesn't become a trend for Nintendo because their games are too damn good to be boggled down by these kinds of practices. And the best way you can ensure that this doesn't keep happening is by refusing to purchase Fire Emblem Echoes Season Pass and DLC content. Don't be a sucker. The only language that these companies know how to speak is money. So don't pay for their shitty practices, speak their language, and they'll pay attention. And shame on whoever thought that pricing a half-assed Season Pass higher than the base game was a good idea. It is one of the most asinine, anti-consumer DLC practices I have seen in a long time. What are your thoughts on the matter? Do you feel the same way as I do about this scheme, or can you somehow justify Nintendo's latest shenanigan? Let us know in the comments below, and to be further updated on video game news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!